Welcome to another Classic Car Club drive-through. Today we've got 2017 Acura NSX, highly anticipated car. You know we're a big fan of the 91 NSX. We've had a couple of them and we'll talk about those more in depth later. Tough shoes to fill. Purest sports cars ever made. Still to this day, it's our go-to back road, pure motoring experience car. And especially hard to fill these days because you can't make a naturally aspirated, lightweight, 200-something horsepower, manual gearbox car with manual steering and have it compete at the level that this car has to compete at. They had a big task in bringing this car back after a long run with the original body and the original design. You know, making a modern kind of super sports car today, it has to come with the requisite dual clutch gearbox. You know, these days turbochargers and now hybrid drivetrains. So it's got all that. It has an insane 9-speed gearbox. I didn't even realize it had 9 speeds until like the second or third time I drove it, and I was getting lazy on the highway and I put it in auto and I saw 9 in front of me. I thought it was 8-speed, which is already a lot, but somehow it makes use of 9 forward gears. It's got a twin turbo V6 in the back and a hybrid motor attached to that, electric motor, so you get hybrid drivetrain to the rear wheels, and then has 2 electric motors in the front. Pretty trick stuff. With that you can get this kind of torque vectoring all-wheel drive, you have torque fill, and you have a very solid taste of hybrid power that you get in hypercars. You know, so previous to this you had the i8 at a kind of very basic level, but mostly it was $1 million hypercars that would give you this kind of power delivery. I don't even know exactly the numbers there. I think it's combined horsepower of like 563 horsepower-ish, but I'm probably wrong, but somewhere up there. And it feels a lot quicker because you have that instant torque. You know, turbocharged motor is getting really good now. They have a lot of torque. Lag has kind of gone away entirely, but then you add electric motors to that too, and anytime you step on the accelerator, you're off. They put all the right tools in place to make a seriously fast, seriously competitive super sports car. Now we're going to get behind the wheel and see if they actually pulled it off in the driving experience. Inside the NSX, you know, all very futuristic, modern. We get push button everything, whatever. We'll take you through a few key features. Interestingly, they kept the rear trunk, which was kind of a staple in older mid-engine cars, but it's been lost in most of the new ones where they fill that up with exhaust and all kinds of other stuff. So we've got 2 trunks, button here for the rear trunk. That one gets a little toasty, so don't put your ice cream back there. There's another button for the gas flap opener, and then down on the floor there's one for the front trunk. Get in, keyless entry, hit the start button. I've got it on, well, what is it going to start on? Probably start on sport mode. This car, this big knob here controls your dynamic drive modes. 4 modes. You've got quiet, sport, sport plus, and track. So quiet, it's going to try to be full EV as much as possible. It's pretty cool. Sport is a bit more everyday driver. It will still cut to EV when it can, and it will do the auto start, stop on the motor. Sport plus, it's going to keep both drivetrains working to give you kind of maximum performance. And then track takes it a little bit further and takes traction control off. With all those modes, you also get different characteristics in the suspension, tuning, and the steering. So every higher mode gets a bit sharper, a bit firmer. But we're going to start out in quiet because, you know, the cool thing about these modes is kind of experiencing all the different aspects of it. So kind of a weird push button gearbox here. You push D once to put it in drive. If you want to toggle the manual, you push it again. Reverse, you pull back on the lever here, and park, you push a button there. But let's pull away here. Oh. So we're in quiet. It did kick the motor on for a second, but as long as I'm a little ginger with the throttle, I can keep it on EV. I don't know how long it will keep it full EV. I think it's pretty low speed, and yeah, it depends on how much throttle you're giving it. Like now, it's kicked the motor back on, but if I come off, it's probably gonna kick it off again. Pretty cool thing, you know. Moving around in a car like this silently is interesting, and you still have that instant torque, even though we're only using the 2 front drive motors. But give it a bit more gas, and it's cool too because you get to hear what's going on in the engine with the exhaust quieted down a bit. So if I get on the gas now, you can hear that surge of the turbos, a little blow off. When I'm on the brakes, I can hear the regenerative braking. So what's cool about this for me is that even though this car is loaded with all this tech, they let that tech come through in an honest way as to what it is mechanically. You get to experience it all. It's not just hidden back there and magic happens when you touch the gas. You know, you hear all the pops and whistles of the turbos, you hear the whine of the electric motors, and you kind of connected to what it's doing. Just because it's new and high tech doesn't mean it's not doing something awesome mechanically for the performance of the car. Sport mode is kind of balanced. It'll give you a bit of everything. It will shut the engine off when you're in traffic and all that kind of stuff. Let's jump to Sport Plus, where it's going to crack the exhaust open a bit more. You hear the tone come up. If you're in auto, it's going to hold gears longer, but we're going to give it a little bit of manual now and see where we go. So this car, with that kind of full performance hybrid, it's really one of the bargain cars to buy right now because you're getting that same technology that was previously reserved for $1 million hypercars. All these cars that were making 900 horsepower with combined, you know, electric and combustion engines, but now you can buy it in what, like $140,000, $150,000 kind of super sports car. And there's really kind of no denying how incredible it is. Getting that instant torque from the electric motors to fill in where the combustion engine is maybe a bit laggy as it spools up, although even that, you know, these new turbo motors are so quick. So, in spite of the hybrid adding some weight, in spite of the power numbers not being the most impressive, you know, so many cars now they're 6-7 horsepower, whatever, it feels way quicker than any of the numbers would tell you. Get on the gas and you're just off. And it's got to be that electric torque fill going to work there. Also, while it's so quick, it's really stable. You know, having the electric motors turn the front wheels, that torque vectoring all-wheel drive, there's all kinds of magic going on that's keeping the thing on the road, where normally if I planted my foot down like that, I'd be a little worried about what would happen. Track mode, I think it may cut loose a little bit on you. Does get a little sharper, like just everything, particularly the steering, it's just a little tighter on track mode, but I'd save that for if you ever find a really smooth, kind of open road with no consequences. I think Sport Plus is pretty good for everything that we have to drive. Overall, though, you know, I think Acura's done it. You know, the claim, while this may just be PR spiel, is that the engineers weren't given specific performance targets. They were tasked with focusing more on the driving experience, and I think they've done it. It can't be as extreme as the original NSX, but it still feels pretty connected. And like I said, the execution of all this technology in the car really translates as it's just there to make it a better car to drive, not just to give you faster numbers in your stats. So, good job, Acura. I was skeptical since we had to wait a little while for this car, and I'm such a fan of the original. I really didn't think you could make something modern days with paddle shift gearboxes and all this stuff that would deliver the experience anywhere relating to the original car, but I think you've done it. And value for money performance, I think this has to be one of the best cars you can buy right now.